Hey, man.
What's up?
I'm so excited for this intro.
Okay.
Have you heard of this man?
There's no picture.
There's not a picture. No, just have you heard of this man?
This man?
Have you heard of this man?
This man?
This man?
The one who lives on Drury Lane?
Yeah. Have you heard of this man?
I have heard of this man.
This man on Drury Lane? No, this man. Well, he might actually.
Last time I flew Southwest, guy next to me brought 5 guys on. The smelliest of foods. And then sat middle row, took his shoes off.
There's a pretty good chance that this man's going to be in dreams now.
Watch the TV. We would chant, tase him, tase him, tase him. Dude, we were such idiots back then. Holy cow.
Things I learned last night.
This man, this is a weird story, bro. And it might, knowing you, I can't tell if this is going to scare you or not.
Okay.
This might be scary for you. So consider that your disclaimer. Proceed at your own
All right.
risk, Jared.
Let's get it. This man?
This man.
Is this like a freaking like Slender Man kind of thing or something like that?
Kinda, but worse, maybe.
Worse?
I don't know.
Hey man, you might have nightmares after this ghost story I'm about to tell you. Oh man, I don't know. How do you feel about chainsaw murderers? All right, roll the intro. What are you talking about?
Okay, so we'll take it to the beginning of the story.
I guess.
January 2006.
No, that's way too recent. I don't like this already. Let's bail. Let's bail. I can handle scary stuff from like the 70s and stuff, because that's like people were dumb back then.
Yeah.
2006, people at least. All right, go ahead.
So in January 2006, a psychiatrist in New York had a client who reported that she was having these reoccurring dreams. And in those dreams, there was this man that was present in the dream.
Okay.
And in the dreams, he was pretty benevolent and would always kind of guide her out of the dream and be like, hey, by the way, none of this is real. This is a dream. Goodbye. And then she'd wake up. And she was like, it doesn't really matter what the dream is. Like, she's like, it's a reoccurring dream because this guy shows up, but the dream itself isn't reoccurring.
He's the recurring thing.
He's the recurring thing. So he shows up in all these different dreams
What
at
does
the
he
end of the
look like?
dream, and he shows up. So the psychiatrist sketched the man according to her description, and this is who this man is and what he looks like, which is, very uncomfortable.
It's not scary to audio listeners. It is a face.
It kind of is scary.
It's a guy who's balding. He
but not
looks
bald.
like an IT guy. He looks like a math teacher who is also an
accurate.
IT guy. His eyebrows are huge, like
Super
Eugene
thick
Levy
eyebrows.
big.
Yeah,
you know,
super thick eyebrows.
and almost a unibrow.
Very squished head, but very wide face.
Yeah.
His head is not very tall, but his face is very wide.
But he looks like he's a human person. He looks like a normal.
Definitely
it's not
human.
like his head isn't cartoon shaped or whatever. It's
No.
like a normal old
His
dude.
mouth is a little wide. His mouth does seem a little
Yeah.
wider than probably.
But that
is
might just
normal.
be how bad of a sketch artist she is. She's a psychiatrist.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay.
And so they kind of continued having sessions, and he kept coming up, and it was something that was.
What she kept being like, well, this man. You know what I mean? He kept coming up.
I don't know. He kept coming up in her dreams, and they kept having
okay.
sessions. She was logging these sessions, and
And then she started having dreams.
she didn't start having dreams, but she was talking to a couple of her colleagues, and they said, hey, we have patients that are having similar things where they have
No, that's okay.
same
I'm
sort
out.
of thing. Like a
That's
guy
all right.
shows up at the end of their dreams, guides them out of their dream. And
Have you ever had a recurring dream?
Yeah, I've had a few. Haven't we talked about them on the show?
I think we did. That's why I was like, man, is this the guy from my dream?
Does he look like him?
I've told you about my recurring dream.
Does he look like him? Yeah.
No, he didn't have a discernible like. Well, I don't know. He was wearing like a I can only describe as like a mobster, like whatever that hat is.
That hat. Yeah.
Not a fedora, but something
it's
like that
similar.
mobster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I imagine him leaning out the side of a car, like But I would wake up in my room and he would be in the corner of my room.
Yep.
And he would be like, "It's over," and I'd wake up.
That was the one where you killed your parents, right?
Not my parents. I kill a random set of parents.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because there was the kids. You saw
Yeah,
the kids,
you remember this very vividly. Wow.
You've told me this story a few times.
Yeah.
I had the dream too. I was the kids in the dream, though. I had the dream, but I was the kids.
Weird.
And so
it was about, I don't know. Well, it was like 2009, 2010 when that happened.
So she said, "Well, hey, I sketched him. Do you want to bring this? Like, take a photocopy of the sketch?"
Imagine you're talking to your psychiatrist. Okay, let's just go with it for a second. You go and you confide in your psychiatrist. You're like, "Hey, man, this weird dude keeps showing up in my dreams." You're multiple sessions, and your psychiatrist has gotten this sketch from the other psychiatrist, and then your psychiatrist goes, "Is it this man?" And now you're suddenly, and it looks just like him. Suddenly, your whole reality is shaken, dude. I would poop my pants. I would, like, what do you even do?
Oh, you mean this man?
Oh, you mean this man? I think I would impulsively kill my psychiatrist. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I would just start beating. I'd be like, "Oh my gosh,
You're the reason.
Nothing's real. Wake up! Wake up!
Where's this man at?"
Dude, that would cause a psychotic break in me. Are you joking? All right, go ahead. What happens? So they show him. Clearly.
Show him, and the clients are like, "Yeah, that's the guy."
Wow. I hate that.
And so this.
How many clients?
I don't know at this point. It's a handful. So this group of psychiatrists gets together and they write it up, put out this paper, and a handful of other psychiatrists.
They put out a wanted poster. Have you seen this man?
A handful of other psychiatrists pick it up and they're like, "This sounds familiar." And so they start printing out the pictures and bringing it to their clients. Now this is spreading because they
I got something.
published
I don't know if it's going to scare you or not, but I've got something to show you. Like freaking... What? Oh, they put it in the oil stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
what do you think
what do
when
you see this one?
In this one?
And what do you think when you see this one? Oh, wow.
Their voice gets deeper when you see.
What do you think when you see
this one?
This one. And what do you think when you see this one?
La la
la la la la la la la la. Move your arms when you walk.
That's 8 miles.
Oh, I love that no one gets this. That's good
stuff. A handful
stuff.
of our patrons do now.
Some of our Patreon supporters get it. There's a very specific comedy special that we reference all
the time.
And we've only told our Patreon supporters what it is. So if you want to know what it is, support us on Patreon.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the bowels of our Discord right now.
Okay. And we'll also show you this guy. If you support us on Patreon, that saves you. He doesn't show up in your dreams.
If you support us on Patreon, yeah, we'll kill him in your dreams. Pay us and we'll kill this man in your dreams.
Have you seen this man? Actually, yeah. And then my favorite podcasters were also there.
And they killed him.
And he was there. And he was there. And you were there. All right. Anyway,
yeah.
So some people pick it up. Some more psychiatrists. Hey, are like in different regions or just that area?
All around the world, they start picking it up because they published this, and all around the world they start picking it up, and these people start writing the authors, and they're like, "Hey, mine too, like my client too.
Yeah,
it's happening." And so this started to become kind of a phenomena, and so a website was put together called thisman.org.
Okay.
And on it, it just had that composite sketch. It had a form, and it said, "Have you dreamt of this man? Tell us about your experience." And over the course of about 3 years that this was up, roughly 3,000 people came forward and said that they had dreamt of this man. What was interesting is the results from the website, once they started submitting from the website, they started to vary a little bit. It seemed before the website was established that he was mostly benevolent. Like he would show up at the end of people's dreams and guide them out of their dreams.
Yeah.
Once it was on the website, there was a bunch of those, but there was also some where he would just like be there and like, they'd be like, yeah, he's just kind of in the background of all of my dreams, or like just kind of observing. Or there were other ones where, like there's a particularly famous account. I don't know why, but there's a particularly famous account where she says that she was having a flying dream and he was flying alongside her the whole time. And
What is he wearing? We only see a picture of his head.
Trench coat.
What's he wearing in these dreams?
I don't know. Look at
I
this
imagine
guy.
a green polo and khakis. Khakis
That's
for sure.
Yeah, definitely khakis,
And
green
just
polo.
a tucked in
and
green polo.
Asics.
You know the person who wears their pants too high?
Yeah.
You know? Because they're just thin. Thin people don't know where their waist is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like those stick people?
Yep.
And they don't know where to stop.
Yeah.
And so he's just got his
They
pants
have no idea
way
where.
too high.
Really high.
Black belt,
Brown shoes.
You knew exactly what I was
suspenders,
saying.
green polo.
What is he? Not Urkel, dude. What the heck?
7 watches on his left arm.
And he still does those
I know the
silly
time.
bands from, 2000. It was 2006. So
Yeah.
he was really into silly bands.
Yeah. He says, hey, you're dreaming. Also, look at this. This is an elephant.
Hey, you're dreaming. Look at this. Isn't this crazy? It's
if I take
macaroni
it off.
noodle.
Whoa.
You know? And he goes, for some reason. But I'm saying, like, is he just flying? His arms just straight, and he's like,
Hello.
this is a dream right now.
You're dreaming.
Tell your doctor you saw me.
I am this. Tell your doctor about me.
Have you seen this man?
So they get like all these entries, and then there were a handful where he was actually malevolent and he was like killing people.
Yeah.
And it was interesting in those accounts because even though he was killing people and doing malevolent things in their dreams to them, they felt like he was still trying to get them out of their dream, but he was taking more extreme measures in that case with them for whatever reason. They're like, let me kill you so you wake up.
Just having a great dream. You're on a beach. You're driving in like a convertible. Wind in your hair. You can smell the salt of the ocean. Like, this is awesome. And then just the guy, you look over the passenger seat. There he is, Polo. He's just like,
You need to wake up now.
it's time to wake up.
He unbuckles your seatbelt, pushes you off the car.
Oh, that's worse. I thought you unbuckled your seatbelt and then yanked the wheel. I was like, all right.
All right, time to wake up.
All right.
And so because this was just kind of a public forum, the psychiatrists are like, well, there's probably some people who are faking it. Like this, we can't rely 100% on these results.
Oh, yeah. I filled out 2,000 forms.
I've seen them.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
And then
what
it's
they
just an
did is
exercise of world building.
They checked, gosh dang it. They had a system in there that checked their Wi-Fi to see if they've been logged in. And if not, after 30 days, it logged them out. And then they were
hate
allowed
that.
to use.
Oh, yeah. My This Man subscription ended because I was sharing passwords too much. Yep. So now my parents have to have their own This Man.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, thanks for being here for this episode of Things I Learned Last Night. If you like this and you want to check out other episodes, please go through our back catalog. There's literally like 100 and something episodes you can go check out. One of my favorites is Stanley Meyer, a guy who allegedly invented a water-powered vehicle and then took that invention everywhere and then mysteriously died. So we go through the whole theories of what could have happened to him or like why his idea was plausible, not plausible. Really great episode. But other than that, thank you so much for being here and checking out this one.
So in 2009, though, this, for whatever reason, went viral. And so in October of 2009, in a matter of a couple of weeks, the website got 2 million visits.
Oh, jeez. How many form submissions?
Like 10,000 submissions of people claiming to have seen them. At that point, it's hard to say if it's legit or not because it's viral now. So it's like you probably just have a bunch of internet trolls that are submitting stuff.
Sure.
And because it went viral, it kind of became like a meme. And a bunch of people started making, like animating what they think he would actually look like.
So would that then cause more dreams to happen?
Well, that's interesting. We can get to some theories about why it was happening in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, some people who knew how to like animate were like, this is what he looks like. If you want to see not just
videos.
Not just a
ow, bummer, dude.
So this is a more realistic version of what he looked like, which is scary. It is scary.
He's so pale.
This is what I would think Slenderman's face would look like, honestly. If Slenderman had a face,
gosh, man. He looks like if you drew the IRS. You know what I'm talking about? Like if you were like, what do you think the IRS looks like as a person? That's it. I mean, that's 100%
that's
like
painfully accurate.
Yeah, dude. It looks like a less cool agent. What's the agent's name in Matrix?
Oh, and the agent. Oh, Connor, you know? Gosh dang it, I know this.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
He called him Mr. Anderson, but what was his name?
Agent. Man. Anyway, looks like a boring version of that. Like if you can make that suit and that Matrix person a little more boring.
Yeah.
And maybe
Smith.
Agent Smith. That's right. If you made Agent Smith live with his parents for like 10 years longer than he did, then, balding.
Yeah, that's very accurate. And he's kind of coming over. Like he's probably more bald. His eyes are too big. His mouth is too big. His brow is too big. His ears are too big.
Yeah.
His head is really small. Here's one of him looking around a corner.
He's too close to the camera. This guy listens to Jordan Peterson podcasts. This guy eats his steak very well done. Oh my gosh.
I like it very chewy.
Look how wispy his hair is.
I know.
Oh, I hate that one.
Yeah,
because that feels like the last thing you'd see before you wake up.
It really does.
Where he's coming towards you and he's like, wake up.
Wake up.
He looks like the guy that you're walking to the sidewalk and it's like one of you has to move and he refuses
and
to.
He won't.
And like you kind of do that awkward like, oh, sorry. And he's just full straight shoulder right into you.
Yeah.
He
doesn't even make eye contact.
Well, he's making eye contact. He's looking straight at you in that one. I don't like that picture. Get that out of here. Jeez.
Allegedly those were made by this man dreamers, right? Which is what we're calling them from now on.
Until
this man dreamers.
One day, what do you think his name is? Freaking,
Pete.
No, he wouldn't go by a short version of it. He'd be Peter for sure. But
Archibald.
I was thinking something more like, Maxwell. Shows up on Oprah and is like, so it would appear that I've gone viral.
Mega viral.
And
everybody sees me in their sleep.
Yes, it's very interesting to me.
What do you do, Maxwell?
That's a good question. I used to run I used to be the top executive at a digital video discs supplier.
What about now though?
Oh, now I run some food management that is responsible for the highest distribution of meat and buns in the nation.
In a nation? Which nation?
All of them, I think.
All of the nations? Have I heard of it?
Well, I'm not here to talk about what my employment status is.
I'm not going to lie, Maxwell. You strike me as an IRS man.
Oh, wake up. Wake up. Jeez, what if he switched?
He just started on the show.
On Oprah. Just starts going straight toward the camera. Oh, wow. I would drop kick a TV. Wow.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up. It's time to wake up.
It's time to wake up.
It's time to wake up.
Shoot, someone did fall asleep watching this episode, though.
And then we just
and then we're like, wake up.
It's time to wake up.
Wake up. Jeez.
So there's a few
No,
theories.
I was going that he was a manager at Blockbuster and he worked at McDonald's, but he didn't want to call it McDonald's. I work at the distributor for biggest beef and buns. Beef and buns distributor.
What if that's how McDonald's marketed themselves?
Beef and buns, baby. Hey, back to the basics. Hey, you know what? Cut all that out. I want to pitch that to somebody. I guarantee, you know who would buy that? Like Hardee's would buy that
Hardee's
for sure.
would buy that. That's
They'd
a
be like,
Hardee's
hey, back to the
campaign
basics.
for sure.
Beef and buns.
Yeah. Isn't that a like 2001 like contemporary Christian song? Back
Beef
to the
and
basics.
buns?
Back to the basics.
Oh. Beef and buns. No, it's Corey Asbury. Before Reckless Love, he wrote Beef and Buns. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending beef and buns of God.
It's so aggressive.
Beef and buns. Oh yeah, dude. What do you need me to bring? What do you need me to bring the Super Bowl party? Beef and buns, brother.
Buns. Amen.
If you check out our merch store, I've designed a shirt that says beef and buns. You can buy it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the psychiatrists were like, we should figure out what's going on here. There's probably something happening.
We should figure out what's going on here. Sorry, dude. This Celsius is hitting. All right, let's go.
So there's a few theories.
Sure.
5 of them, maybe 6. The first one.
Was there video of the guy?
No, because it's in everyone's dreams.
I know, but you said the animators figure out video.
Well,
Did
they
you mean
animated
pictures?
pictures of him.
Got it.
Like they've made
Got it.
models. So the leading theory,
Yeah.
this is theory number lead, is that this man is just an example of Carl Jung's concept of the unconscious archetypal image that people see in difficult situations.
Okay.
Here's what this is. So Carl Jung theorized that there was a series of archetypes that exist in human consciousness that are absolute. We all have these archetypes within us. And he points to a handful of them throughout history that we see in mythology, like the flood. Pretty much every culture has a flood myth.
Right.
And so he says that there are things like that that are archetypes that are embedded within our consciousness that we are always going to have some concept of that story. And
like
when
people
go
have
tough,
the common dream of like your teeth falling out.
yes, those type of things.
Yeah.
And so the theory is that this man is an archetype that people see when they're going through difficult times to get them out of a dream, basically.
Okay.
And so it's almost like this man is inevitable for some people to see him in dreams,
Okay.
which is a terrifying phrase. This man is inevitable.
Yeah, but it's a really cool nickname if you're Mr. Inevitable. Frick, dude.
Yeah, that's true. I like that.
Yeah, that's the star quarterback of a dying franchise. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Inevitable. What did
They call the San Francisco guy Mr. Irrelevant.
yeah, what was Mr.
Incredible.
No. What did Russell Wilson call himself? Mr. He called himself Mr. something.
Did he?
Yeah, and he was drunk in the video, and
He called himself that?
Yeah.
That's different. If you give yourself a nickname, that's a loser move for sure. It's got to be some
Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm Mr. Unlimited.
He was very drunk in the video, and he was like, "I'm Mr. Unlimited,"
Wow.
and everybody made fun of him for it for years until he did the singing and the plane thing.
The what?
Have you seen that this year? This
No.
year on on their way to their London game, everybody was sleeping, because London's a long flight, and he was doing high knees in the aisle singing praise and worship songs.
Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending beef and buns of God. Oh, wow, Mr. Unlimited. Wow, dude. Maybe chill out. There's nothing I hate more than those videos online of people be on planes being like, just so you know, there's a God who loves you and you can give your life to him right now in 13C. Like, shut the crap up. I hate that.
Yeah, it's very obnoxious.
I hate that with a
There's
passion.
nothing worse than being on a plane and having to acknowledge that other people are on that plane.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And so, yeah, people doing things that are just unavoidable on planes.
Last time I flew Southwest, guy next to me brought 5 guys on. The smelliest of foods. And then sat middle row, took his shoes off.
Oh, no.
Was so high that he was texting and he was falling asleep mid-text. So he'd be like...
Yikes.
And I'm stuck. Window seat.
He's middle row.
Guy in the aisle seat was like, guys, today is the day to get saved.
And then in the middle of that flight.
If you want to know more about God, text beef and buns to 66866.
Set that up.
Beef and buns. Jeez, man.
In the middle of the flight, they're row in front of you, in between the seats. This man. He said, it's time to wake up now.
It's time to wake up. No! I hate that.
No, go away.
You owe $21,000. You're like, geez, dude. Come on, man. Even in my dreams? Leave me alone, IRS.
So, first theory is that it was an archetype. That was the one that the psychologists seemed to be leaning on, right? Second theory was that this was a manifestation of God.
Okay.
God was coming to people in a dream.
Yeah, dude. God looks like a guy whose dreams didn't work out, you know? God honestly, looks like he drives a Kia Sorento.
Honestly, though, if we're God's dream, then we didn't really work out.
That might be. He's so disappointed, dude. The look in his face is so like, you could have done so much. Been
so many other things.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah. A lot of psychiatrists are like, nah, probably not.
Here's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to interject my theory in the middle of this. Sometimes you'll have dreams, and in the dream, you'll realize that the person you're talking to doesn't look anything like the person that in your mind goes, like, for example, like Ray has been in a couple of my dreams.
Yes.
But it looks nothing like her.
Yeah.
But I go, oh, yeah, that person's Ray.
That's you. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so...
I've been there too.
Have you? Yeah. Where it's like, and then even when you wake up, you kind of go, that didn't look anything like. I know Ray was there, but that didn't look like
her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or like in you, like you'll be in a dream, and it's like that was Tim, but it looked like a almost like what the AI is doing with those blurry photos of Loeb.
Yeah,
is that your brain is going
generating.
Oh yeah, that's this person for sure.
Yeah.
You know,
I've had it happen too, where it's like there's another character in your dream that's a person that you know, and over time that happens where they don't look like them, and then over time by the end of the dream, it's a different person.
Yes, 100%. And you're like, you were them. You were them a second ago,
and now you're interesting. Yeah. So
have you heard the Pete Holmes bit about dreams?
No.
Where he's like, if aliens studied human sleep and they were just like, why do you guys pass out for 8 hours a day? And he's like, well, I don't know, we need it, you know. He's like, well, that sounds like such a waste of time. So, well, I mean, you know, I get rest and I feel good afterward. And he's like, that's great. I mean, that sounds so boring just to close your eyes for 8 hours. He goes, no, my brain plays movies that I'm in. That's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
Hey, thanks again for being here for this episode. If you want to help us make more of these, we have a Patreon that you can support us on. We don't make money from this personally. All the money from Patreon goes straight back into our show, helps us to create better episodes, get our better production quality. But more than anything, we're just so glad that you're here. So thank you so much for supporting our show. And if you want early access and be part of our Discord, please consider supporting us on Patreon. But other than that, we just want to say thanks again.
Here's a scarier theory. This one's the theory that, well, there's probably two theories that I would say I really don't like, and this is one of them.
Okay.
is that
He's a dream pirate.
there was an ad campaign that a corporation ran that had like subliminal messaging to put this man in
Come
people's
on.
dreams.
That's stupid.
Yeah, creepy.
Yeah, but none of us can remember what it was. Didn't
really
work.
dumb. Really dumb. Yeah, that's so stupid. Why would you be scared of that idea?
Not scared of it. No, I'm saying that would be such a dumb. If you think about the idea for more than 2 seconds,
Yeah.
One, does anybody know which company it was? 2, why would they do that if it doesn't? I mean, if you're gonna do it, make it freaking
Make
the
it-
Hamburglar. You know, like if you're gonna do it, make
Yeah.
it Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, I don't know, Doc. For some reason, the Hamburglar keeps showing up at the end of all my dreams.
Wait, describe him. Describe him again. He's wearing a hat like a mobster.
yeah.
And he's wearing a striped shirt.
it's like a
and he's
striped
got
shirt.
the little.
The mask eyes, and he's holding a.
And the psychiatrist has to pause, has to be looking at the picture, the sketch, and be like, surely I'm getting this wrong. You know, like,
right.
there's no way this is right.
There's no way. And then you imagine the moment when he talks to his colleagues and everyone's like, my client's been seeing him.
That's pretty interesting that you would say that, because my client Maxwell has mentioned. I'm saying, why would a company do that?
I mean, I think the idea is
Or they tried to do something else. Yeah, that guy. Who's the face of our brand?
Yeah, maybe they were trying to get you to think, but everyone
just got
ended
stuck,
up
and they were
looking
like,
that.
"Oh, dang it."
We were this close. It's supposed to be Steve Jobs.
Well, that makes sense if it's the McDonald's arches and that's his eyebrows.
There,
you know?
yeah, maybe. I don't know. So that was one of them. Here's another.
What's the best advertisement you've ever seen?
Probably there was this Pepsi commercial a few years ago where she crossed the line and gave the cops this Pepsi.
And he didn't look excited at all.
He was not excited one bit.
No, I think the best one I've seen is for Nesquik, and it was in the DC subway. And as you're going through the tunnel, they did it as a flip picture.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
so it's one frame at a time. You're
That's
going to the
really
subway,
cool.
and it's like.
That's
and I was like,
very cool.
I was like, dang it,
is
that's
very
great.
cool. That is very cool. I like that.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that a lot.
And then at the end of the flip picture, he was giving a Nesquik to a police officer. And then it kept going. And the sequence got weird, but he ended up like on the ground. And the police officer was standing over him. And then it cuts to the police officer who's like now leaning in. It was a long tunnel. And he's like now leaning in. And he's like, wake up. And you're like, whoa.
And then it just kept going
And it just
after
kept
that.
going after that.
It said Cops 7/9 Central on TBS.
It was a Cops commercial. Remember we used to watch Cops?
Yeah.
And we used to chant. We used to be watching Cops, and we would watch the TV, and we would chant, tase him, tase him, tase him. Dude, we were such
the
idiots
worst.
back then. Holy cow.
We would watch live PD in Springfield in our own town.
Yeah, and we'd be like, let's
And
go
we would
find him.
tase him,
We're like, let's go find him,
We'd be
dude.
like, we might
We're
know
like,
this
wait a minute,
guy.
that's within driving
Tase
distance.
that
We
guy.
can go do it. Oh my gosh.
So another theory is that, and this was like one of the other leading theories.
Sure.
Is that only a couple people actually dreamt of this man. The rest of them saw this man somewhere and then dreamt of him,
yes,
and then
that's what I
came
was
back
thinking.
and
Yeah,
reported
yeah.
dreaming of him. And so they were suggested a dream to begin with. Another one is that
well, but also is that you could have a dream of a generic man, and someone could show you a picture, and you can go, because again, it's fuzzy picture in your dream.
that's the other theory, is that because it's hard for you to remember your dreams accurately.
Very specific detail.
That if you get seen this picture, you'd be like, well, you know what? I think I have seen that guy in my dreams.
I can't recall dreams. Like I'll wake up and I'll be like, that was a weird dream. I'm gonna tell Reagan about that later today. And then later, I just go, I had a dream I was going to tell you about, but I can't remember a single detail about it.
Have you heard of those people who like journal their dreams when they first wake up?
Yeah.
I've thought about doing that before, but I'm also like, why though?
Yeah, but I just prefer to make money and like have a job and do The people who do that stuff are the people who have time to do the get ready with me on TikTok videos, you know? And it's like, all right, well,
Last night I dreamed.
it's like
There was this man
Just
there.
have kids so you can have a personality at least. You know what I'm talking about? You know the moms that it's like, thank God you got kids, so you got something to do.
Yikes.
No, but that's why some dads golf because they don't got a personality.
Yeah. Well,
Or like the guys that are like buffed out at the
yeah.
gym.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
mean,
like,
I think
dude,
that
get
is
it,
their
man.
personality. Their personality
That's what I'm
is their
saying.
number one thing. Their
And
hobby.
Before that, they had to float through these weird horoscope phase and wake up and
Trying to
journal
find
your
themselves.
dreams phase.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No one, find me a person who's consistently journaled their dreams for like 50 years. Find me that person. You know what I guarantee? I guarantee they live in a weird cottage. Okay? And they drink this gross tea that they make from their garden, and they've convinced themselves that you try it, it tastes terrible.
It's awful. It's awful. Yeah. How do you make this? Oh,
No
it's
one's
just
doing that for
6
more than
parts mud, 2 parts lemon.
Yeah. It actually is it revolutionized my gut health.
From the earth. My
Yeah.
gut health.
It came to me in a dream once. You know what else changed my life?
My life.
Was
Let me tell you.
oregano. Guys, I gotta tell you, oregano changed my life.
Changed my life this year. Oh my gosh. Okay. Here's the 6th theory. And this one is a little hoo-ha.
Okay.
So this theory is that, like remote viewing.
More
we talk-
hoo-ha than God. Then it's like, that's God?
Yeah.
You're like, this one's out there.
Yeah. So you remember the remote viewing episode?
Yeah.
So this theory is that there was a guy who had mastered this form of meditation where he could lean into people's dreams from afar, like remote viewing, but into your dream. Kind of like Inception,
Sure.
but it wasn't like a, hey, let's dream together. It was a, hey, I'm going to infiltrate your dreams and scare the heck out of you.
Okay.
Time to
Sure.
wake up. And so that's that theory. There's no real
Okay.
science behind that. I think it was just some community members who were like,
Somebody's
what if there's a guy?
What if there's a guy who gets in your dreams?
who can get into our dreams?
That's what I like about theories. No limits.
You can just theorize.
You can just think something.
Yeah, this is what I think it is. In 2010, we got the answer.
Right? No.
Yeah, in 2010, we got the answer. Well, maybe. In 2010, here's what happened. There was a guy who got a job for a company called... crap. I don't remember what the company's called. But basically, they were an art agency.
Okay.
And he wrote a blog post on that art agency's website. And he said that he was the founder of thisman.org. And he said that it was a guerrilla marketing stunt. And that he created this whole backstory and this website to market a movie that was supposed to launch where this man was going to be, it was like a horror movie, and this man was going to be the bad guy that was infiltrating people's dreams. And this was his marketing campaign for it. But the movie ended up running out of funding and never happened.
I don't hate that.
Very cool. Very cool. What is interesting is that blog post was up for a couple months before it got taken down. And then this guy, it like became public that he owned that website because
Sure.
someone on 4chan ended up finding it and was like, yeah, this guy owns this website. And he also owns a website called Guerrilla Marketing.it, something like that.
That's not a. I don't
And
hate
so-
that. I'll tell you what.
What's interesting is they took that blog post down. Vice found this guy, and Vice News did an article on it. And he, in the interview, acted like it was real. And this was 2 years after that blog post, after he came out and said it was all a guerrilla marketing tactic. Vice did the article, and in the interview, he said that he had the dream, and he told his psychiatrist. So the story's different now. He told his psychiatrist about it. The psychiatrist wrote it. And
You
then
don't think
he
they
went
did the
and he
interview
started-
before he made the post?
No, the interview happened after the post. It was like 2 or 3 years after the post. Vice posted
So
that.
the interview was post.
The interview was post blog post. Yeah.
Post. Got it.
Post, yes. Post, pre-Post Malone.
Post.
It was post, but pre-Post Malone, but post Serial.
Got it.
And post offices.
Sure. Wow, if you really think about it, we're living in a post office era, aren't we? It wasn't that funny, but hey, I'll take it.
It's really funny.
I'll take a head throwback.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Vice.
But he pretended like it was real.
He did this whole interview.
Pretended. He said it was real.
He did this whole interview acting like it was a true story in the interview.
Okay.
Vice puts out the article.
Then he puts out another blog post?
No, a bunch of people come and they're like, hey, this guy wrote a blog post a while ago and said it wasn't true. And so then Vice took it back and put out an update and said, hey, turns out that article we put out wasn't true. And everyone's like, I don't understand what's happening here. Like, why is he acting like this is real all of a sudden when he already said it wasn't real?
And then no one's found him since.
Yeah, and there hasn't been, like, he's not on that company's website as an employee. He doesn't have like a social media presence. So this was in 2016 when Vice did the article.
Oh.
So there's these ideas that maybe somebody bought the rights to that movie and was going to try to resurrect it.
Right. That's
that
kind of what
hasn't happened yet.
Sure.
Or this man got to Vice. This man got to the guy who made the guerrilla marketing site. His name's Andre Natella. He's an Italian marketer. This man might have got to them and said, hey, stop. You got to stop this.
What do you mean this man got to them?
This man came to them in a dream.
Stop.
And said, hey, you gotta stop
I was
it.
like, what are you talking about right
You
now?
gotta stop it.
No, I do like that marketing tactic. Did you
He
see that
walked around
marketing
the corner and he said, stop.
I hate that one. He's like, I'm real. Jeez, dude. First of all, brilliant get that out of here. Brilliant marketing scheme. One that they tried to do this, but it kind of fell flat was for that Jake Gyllenhaal movie that he just did. Look it up. The one you got to be on the phone. Because I was in LA when this happened. So what's it called?
The Guilty?
Yes. Look up The Guilty Skywriter. The Guilty movie Skywriter. I don't know if we're going to end up with a different episode about the because, like, do you see what I'm talking about? It's got a phone number across the sky.
Oh, that's cool.
So put that on the screen if you can.
Yeah.
I was in LA and I look up and this plane has written a phone number. I mean, so many letters. There's a huge message across.
This is a giant. Like, that's impressive.
That's like multiple planes, I think.
Yeah.
Across the sky in LA that says, listen carefully, 507, save her.
Yeah, that's
which
cryptic.
Is such a weird thing. Listen carefully, 507, save.
That's very impressive to write that much with a
Oh,
plane.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it had to be multiple planes or something. I don't know
That's
how
crazy.
they did it. But that's above LA. I was there that day. And I called the numbers. I was like, what the heck is this? And it was, and now the movie trailer had not come out yet. And the voicemail that it leads you to, like, they were trying to make this a viral moment for sure.
Yeah.
The voicemail it leads you to did not mention anything about
a movie?
the movie or anything. It
What
was
did it
like,
do?
you could hear, basically, it was a scene of their call that was like, please stay on the line, you're okay. And she's like, but I need help or whatever. And it was like a very intense 911 call.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it just, bloop.
Could you tell it was Jake Gyllenhaal?
I couldn't, but as soon as
Is that Jake Gyllenhaal? No
but
context.
I think the problem they had was when you Googled it, it immediately came up with a guilty.
Yeah.
And I think had they waited maybe
little
just
longer.
a day or two,
Yeah.
it would
And
have hit
let there be
viral.
the
Because then
intrigue.
I didn't share it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I listened to it. I Googled it and found out it was a movie promo. Didn't tweet about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That what they wanted was for me to be like, does anybody know what this is?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that was an interesting
That is
attempt.
very interesting. That is
And
very
I heard the
interesting.
movie sucked, so I didn't watch it.
That is really clever. I like that. And that's impressive to write that much with
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So,
But do imagine that you're just driving in LA and you look up and you see "Save Her" in the sky. And you're like, "What?
you're like,
frick
excuse
is
me?
this?"
Yeah, that's a
It was a
terrifying idea.
It was a weird
Yeah.
couple minutes there.
Yeah. Well, I'll call that number.
I said, yeah, I'll save her.
Yeah, I'll save her. I'll save her. I'm the hero.
I'm the one person in LA seeing this right now.
I'm the only person in LA brave enough to call this number.
Who was the comedian that hired the Skywriter? And they wrote, here, Google comedian hires Skywriter. I forget what exactly they wrote, but it's worth it. They wrote like, don't know how to land.
Yeah, how do I land?
How do I land? Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, it was Kurt Braunhaler.
Yeah.
Cost him $6,800.
And it's like, that's pretty funny.
That's so funny that the concept of he can skywrite, but he can't figure out
how do I land. It's so funny, dude. No, but I remember I was listening to a comedy podcast. And there was another comedian who was like, yeah, I gotta get out of here soon. I'm actually going to a rooftop party for my friend who hired a skywriter above LA. And it was that incident. It's pretty funny.
Anyways, yeah. So if you ever see this man in your dreams,
well, I mean, and think about how you found this episode.
Honestly,
because
though,
we freaking got you.
Honestly, though, like, I think now that if you watch this episode, there's a pretty good chance that this man's going to be in your dreams now. So I don't know what to say about that.
Can you end, Connor, can you end the video? Like when we say the fiddle off, can you just put his face like in the, or put our face? That's fine. Cheer! Oh, I do not like that one. I just felt my whole body go pale. Get that out of here. I don't want to look.
His mouth.
I don't want to look at it. I hate it.
Connor screamed for this one too. He's a little balder in this one. This one must be more recent.
Fiddle off, dude. Let's get out of this. Hey, you made it to the end of the episode. You're probably asleep right now because you let it keep playing. But if you aren't asleep, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you get more videos. And also, if you can't wait for more, we've got plenty of other episodes and highlight clips, just some of our funniest parts, the things we enjoy the most. This show is an absolute blast, and I cannot thank you enough for being here.